When a person is speaking to you, you have the advantage of hearing their tone of voice, if they're scared or if they're happy. You'll be able to tell from the expression on their face, some of their voice inflections, and you're going to have comprehension by listening and watching that person. When you're writing, you have only one chance of getting your point across. You won't have the ability to see if the other person didn't quite understand, so you could say it again. So we're going to use the common punctuation marks to help us express ourselves, and because these punctuation marks are common, the other person is also going to be familiar with how to stop or slow down or interpret the punctuation marks within the given sentence. These do not have any punctuation at all. However, I pushed and pulled until it finally worked. The second one, however I pushed and pulled, it never worked. Well, that's a lot better. But if we put in some common punctuation marks in this, you'll see that a comma place here, which tells us to slow down, pause for a second, and a period here at the end, an end point. Now this sentence reads, however, I pushed and pulled until it finally worked. Putting a small pause right there now makes the sentence understandable. However, I pushed and pulled until it finally worked. In the second sentence, I used pretty much the same words. However, I pushed and pulled, it never worked. If we put a comma at this position and an end punctuation mark here, this sentence now becomes, however I pushed and pulled, it never worked. I hope you can understand now how these several punctuation marks really bring forth the meaning of this sentence in the first reading of it. Let's try another. There are no punctuation marks in these at this point. Emily asked where you live. Where do you live? In this particular case, Emily asked where you live is an end point of a period that's needed. You're getting some information about what Emily asked. In this particular one, where do you live? We need a question mark at the end because someone is requesting information. Basically, these sentences are saying the same thing, but in a different way. When we use an end mark of a period, our voice seems to go down at the end of the sentence. Emily asked where you live. When a question is being asked, you see the question mark, your voice inflection needs to be raised. Where do you live? Did you notice the voice inflection? Young children particularly need to have that reinforced, that a period makes the voice go lower and a question mark, it's raised. Also, you should be pointing out the capital letters that start at the beginning of the sentence. A beginner reader needs to understand that the sentence itself begins with a capital letter and ends with either a question mark, a period, or an exclamation point.